Hello internet friends, welcome to the Legion Alpha Beta coverage and summary of the Guardian Druid, currently, that I was actually testing for like 3.5 hours, close to 4 hours today. There was a lot of math to be figured out with how the mastery works and all that good stuff and frenzy regeneration and all those things, so it was a bit of a long testing. If you want to check out all of my notes for the class or the bug report and things that are a little weird and wonky and broken, then please refer to the link in the description box, as well as the entire VOD from the whole 3.5 hours or so is also linked down there as well. Or if you're here for the first time, I have tested a lot of other classes. Each class gets tested 3 times. Once first pass, second pass with the artifact currently, and a third pass down the road, hopefully with level 110 character copies in the future that actually have fully empowered artifacts so we can test all the hooks and things. But on the first pass right now, the Guardian Druid, people told me it was cool and it was fun. It definitely is a little better than I believe it is currently. They cleaned up some things and gave you a ton of options. But the big change to Guardian is that, first off, you are a giant meat wall. There are a lot of percentage damage modifiers for damage taken. For you to take less damage taken. Now, from a tanking perspective, in my opinion, this is very good. Having lots of abilities or talent that synergize well with taking less damage or healing yourself is the whole point. You are supposed to, as a tank, smooth incoming damage, react to it, or preventively prevent damage coming in, right? You know, protect the face, right? Stay moving, obviously, tank swapping, debuffs, and moving bosses properly and tanking ads, that's all fine and good. But you're supposed to take less damage, prevent huge spikes, and obviously do everything within your power to not die. The Guardian Druid toolkit, I will say, has lots of those embedded into it. I will go over some spell effects here real quick, and then I'll go into some talents and things. I was told that this animation for Lacerate is currently in the game, but I don't remember like the blood particle effects being so cool. And here's Thrash. Thrash is the same. Here's Mangle, sorry, that's Mangle. Mangle looks a little different. Here's Maul. There's no big claws for Maul anymore for some reason. Like, it just has, like, the blood spurt, and then you, like, rear up on your hind legs. Even though the animation and the damage happens before the bear animation actually does, so it's kind of awkward for animation canceling, but... And there's Mangle again. It doesn't do, like, the little, like, bite swirly-do on the target, which I don't know if that's... people are gonna miss it or not, but it does, like, a backhanded claw swing. I'm not familiar with how bear mechanics work, but is that actually a good hit or not? There's Pulverize, which is still in the game. Again, there's this. There's this. There's Frenzied Regen. Here is also Guardian of Ursoc, just to show the animations are currently a little buggy. There's some bear boxes that spawn, but the armor still, of course, appears on your model. And then, of course, you can spam Mangle all day, baby. Just get in there. Mangle for days. Mangle, mangle, mangle. Alright, so... Also, Thrash is a 360-degree AoE around you. But I'll go into some passives and what is changing for the Guardian Druid. Your only real passives are your new mastery, Nature's Guardian, which increases your maximum health and healing received by 25%, based on my current mastery, of course, right? The base amount is 16% plus the mastery. And Thick Hide, which reduces all damage you take by 10%. So all damage, so both physical and spell damage. Okay? That's it. That's your only passives. Everything else you're seeing right here now is because of talent choices. Incapacitating Roar now is baseline, which is and isn't a stun. It is a stun, it's a gouge, basically. But if they take any damage during the incapacitate for the 3 seconds, it'll break them. But it is still an AoE form of crowd control on the Guardian Druid. Additionally, your Stampeding Roar is right here, and is baseline, of course. And it does react to being in forms, and there is a talent that I can go into that does reduce the cooldown by 1 minute. But it only works if you're in bear form for some reason. It doesn't work if you're not, so it's kind of buggy right now. But again, Alpha will Beta, Gamma will Epsilon. Your other abilities, so I wrote these all down. So you have defensive buttons, right? Defensive buttons. You have 2 cooldown buttons. Barkskin, still here. 90-second cooldown, minute and a half. 20% less damage from all sources for 12 seconds. Usable while frozen, incapacitated, fear, to sleep, all forms. Okay, it's still here. The animation, of course, is a little better. It apparently works better with your actual artifact skin forms. Right now, it just kind of does like this weird, like, looks like you're covered in mud. It looks kind of like barkish, right? I've been told it looks better with the artifact skins, which we'll test in the second pass, of course. But at least there's an animation, not just like a crown of thorns that clips through your forehead, right? Your other cooldown is sort of your long-form cooldown, Survival Instincts. Now, this is a 4-minute recharge, 2 charges, that reduces all damage taken by 50% for 6 seconds. So you can chain it in a row and do 12 seconds, or you can use them sparingly over the course of an encounter, but 4-minute recharge is pretty big, right? You may get 3 of these in an entire encounter, but this is your big cooldown. Big long form, big cooldown, short form, small cooldown, smaller cooldown, right? For DR, smaller cooldown for DR cooldown. And on top of that, you have your sort of main active mitigation here. Frenzied Regen has 2 charges by default, 20-second recharge, 10 rage, very low rage cost. But right now, I have Guardian Druid talented. I'll turn that off for a moment so you can see the base amount of it. Frenzied Regen heals for 60% of all of the damage taken in the last 6 seconds over the next 6 seconds, or up to a minimum of 5% of your max health. So this, you take a lot of damage, you Frenzied Regen, right? You're healing for what you have taken in the last 6 seconds over the next 6. So it, in a way, will kind of cancel out the damage you might eventually now take. But it's 10 rage, 2 charges. You can stack them. I think it works like 2 different separate dots that kind of add them together, but it's kind of weird to test. So it'll take a much more proficient Guardian Druid than me to test this out. But very straightforward. That's your main active mitigation, rotational kind of cooldown. Now you have 2 others. You have Iron Fur and the Mark of Ursol. So Mark of Ursol, we'll go with this first, doesn't have anything special for your animation-wise, but it is 30% less magic damage taken for 6 seconds. All it does is just pop up here with like the animation for like Mark of the Wild. Could be placeholder, could be more in the future, you know. Doesn't really do too much. Just kind of like the pops up there, doesn't really do anything. But 30% less damage from magic. Again, you can stack that with Bark Skin, of course. And then Iron Fur. Iron Fur is pretty cool. So it is 100% armor increase for 6 seconds. Again, 45 rage for Iron Fur. Mark of Ursol is also 45 rage. Iron Fur, no animation currently, just kind of pops up here. It's 100% of your armor. However, it is just your base armor added to itself. And if you cast it multiple times, which you can do, you get the base amount each time added on top of each other. So you don't go 2, 4, 8, you go 2, 4, 6, 8, right? Or you go 1, 2, 3, 4, not 1, 2, 4, 8, right? So it's just the 100% additional armor from your base armor. And this again stacks multiple times. Normally, with like regular auto attacks and rage generation, you can get like 2 of these up at the same time. The armor currently in the tooltip is broken. It doesn't tell you what the actual armor reduction is. But multiple stacks of this can happen, which you might put it together on a couple of talent combinations where you can actually get multiple stacks up all the time. Now, I'm not sure on this, but I've always thought that armor physically can only reduce incoming physical damage by up to 75% maximum. But it could be 80%, but I have no idea. So armor has a diminishing return. So you can only get so much armor for physical damage. But someone in the comments could tell me if 75% is still the maximum armor mitigation, that'd be great. But I think it has been, and is. You have Healing Touch, you can heal yourself outside, and technically Roots is still here. Obviously still Growl. Lacerate has a 25% chance to reset the cooldown on Mangle. Thrash is here. Where'd it go? Thrash is right here. It will cause a stack of Lacerate. So you can actually Lacerate, Thrash, Lacerate. There's 3 stacks. You can then Pulverize. And you're looking at Lacerate, Thrash, Lacerate to be back at 3 stacks, and you can start spamming stuff like this. Obviously, you're going to hit Lacerate on cooldown because it can reset the cooldown of Mangle, which Mangle gives you 5 or 10 rage. You get 8 rage per auto attack. You get 5 rage, or with Soul of Forest, you'll gain 10 rage per Mangle. And that's it. Auto attack rage, Mangle Rage. That's it. For base rage generation. It's 8 per swing. If you swing faster with more haste or attack speed, 8 per swing. The base swing speed on the Guardian Druid is 2.5. I have some haste on this gear. So 2.5 normalized. So that is that. Some talents now, though. Again, I've been showing how Pulverize is very much still here. Very much in the top of the category here. But that's Pulverize. Only can use on 3 stacks of Lacerate. A problem with it right now, though, is if you stack your 3rd stack of Lacerate via Thrash, which I hope will get fixed in the future, you actually can't Pulverize. It doesn't light up. You have to stack it with your 3rd stack with Lacerate, the spell itself. Again, just be a bug in the tooltip in the background. They'll fix it in the future, I imagine. It's in my bug report. Brambles is... It does scale with your versatility, and it scales off your attack power. But it is a Reflect Thorn Shield that will reduce incoming damage by a set amount for every single attack, and then reflect the damage back at the attacker. It's just Thorns. Just passive damage reduction. Blood Frenzy, however, is that Lacerate will generate 2 rage each time it deals damage over time while at maximum stacks. So yes, again, this does work on 1 stack of it, but if you have multiple stacks of Lacerate out, you will generate more rage. You'll see the Blood Frenzy ticking right there. I'll get another 3 stack up there. You'll see it increase. I'll get another 3 stack up over here. So every 3 stack of Lacerate, you will get Blood Frenzy. If you need the more rage. I have to spend some rage real quick here so you actually can see the rage regeneration. Dum-dum at him. But, so that's a way to gain more rage. You can use it on a single target if you want to. Pulverize, though, Blood Frenzy does give you a mitigation benefit because you'll have more rage, but Pulverize is literally 15% DR for 12 seconds. Wild Charge is still here, Displacer Beast is still here. It does put you in cat form. Guttural Roars is a 200% radius on Stampeding Roar and Incapacitating Roar, and it reduces the cooldown of Stampeding Roar in bear form by 50% or 1 minute. Resto Affinity is here. You can heal yourself outside of combat with Rejuve, Regrowth, and Swift Mend is fine. Or you get the passive where you heal yourself for 3% of your maximum health every 5 seconds. Feral Affinity gives you the Feral Swiftness, so you move faster. Or when you go into cat form, you get Shred, Rip, Ferocious Bite, Swipe, which are right here. I'm not going to talk about this very much, but Balance Affinity is my only talent that I'm like, this is really stupid. Balance Affinity passive is that it gives you range, additional range on all your abilities. So you're now an airbending bear. Your auto attacks currently don't work from ranged for whatever reason, because they're, not supposed to. But I don't like this at all. It doesn't work on AoE abilities perfectly right now either. But I think this is kind of like the only talent in this entire tree that's really kind of stupid. It's kind of cool, but it's very video gamey. Like, you're an airbending bear. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You do get Moonkin form as a DPS cooldown. You do get the option to, Star Surge, and your Star Surge has a cooldown, but you do get empowerments on your Moonfire and Sunfire, which I don't have in my bars right now, and they both work as it does, right? And then you can use Moonfire and Sunfire, and then you can use Solar Wrath, and you get 1 empowerment hit, boop. And then you can use Lunar Strike, and you get 1 empowerment hit, boop. Moonkin form is a 90-second cooldown with this, and it starts immediately when you enter it. So as long as you stay in it, you can stay a Moonkin, but once you leave it, you'll have it on cooldown. I think it's fine to have Moonkin form as a DPS cooldown. It's kind of neat if you're not tanking, but the extra yards on auto-attacking and your abilities just seems kind of like, I don't like it at all. I don't like it. Typhoon is still here. The Sneeze is still available. Still there. Mass Entanglement still here. Mighty Bash is still here. Soul of Forest, 5 more rage on Mangle, and deals 50% more damage. Incarnation, shutting that off again. 3-minute cooldown. All your abilities go to 1.5 seconds, and you can spam Mangle for days and hit 3 targets. Galactic Guardian is weird. So you can cast Moonfire by default as a bear, okay? Because you lost Fairy Fire, you need something to pull targets with. What this does, however, though, is your damage has a 5% chance to trigger an additional Moonfire, and then all of your Moonfires that are out will debuff the target in a way that it will deal 5% less damage to you. So it's only a 5% chance, but it works on dots. It just worked on that hit of Thrash, by the way. So it has a chance, but, I mean, what this does do is that you can put Moonfire and keep it up on the target for up to 15 seconds if you Pandemic it, and you'll get an extra 5% damage taken. Less damage taken. Alright. Best talent choices are the ones coming up. Earth Warden, there it goes right there. Earth Warden, every 6 seconds you gain a stack of Earth Warden. And what Earth Warden does is that if you get hit by a auto attack, it will reduce the damage taken by 30%. The tooltip is currently bugged. It says 90% at 3 stacks, but it doesn't do that. It's 30% per auto attack. Only auto attacks. Does not work on boss specials. Only auto attacks. But essentially, if you have 3 stacks, you technically have 4. By the time you get to the 3rd stack, you'll get a 4th stack will apply. But only auto attack reduction in damage. Guardian of Elune increases Iron Fur and Mark of Ursal. They last 2 seconds longer. And Frenzied Regen, instead of healing you for 60% of all damage taken, will heal you for 80%. The maximum health, minimum of maximum health is actually incorrect. It's not right. It's always 5% minimum heal of your maximum health. But the 80% goes from 60 to 80%, so it's an additive bonus. It's additional healing. And then Survival of the Fittest is reduces the cooldown of Bark Skin and Survival Instincts by 50%. So you get a 45-second Bark Skin and a 2-minute recharge on Survival Instincts. These are all really cool. I geeked out on the VOD. If you want to watch all the math I did and talking about these things, these are all, like, really good. If you need more cooldowns, if you need more of your active mitigation, or if you just want passives for auto-attacking bosses that hit really hard, right? Really cool. Bristling Fur has been redesigned. Bristling Fur now will, you bristle your fur, causing all attacks against you to generate rage for 8 seconds. The math on this, I was told, is that every 1% HP lost is 1 rage gained. So if you get hit for 15% of your HP, you will gain 15 rage. It has a 8-second duration, a 32-second cooldown technically, and good for getting a lot of rage on multiple targets. I'll pop it here on this guy. You'll watch my rage just fly up there. You'll see the rage, 8, 4, 8, 8. This guy hurts so bad. I'll just double up this and hit my cooldown here so I don't die. But there's 2, because I have Survival Instincts up, so I took less damage, of course, but there goes the Moonfire. So, yeah, Bristling Fur can get you some serious rage gains really quickly. A lot cooler of a talent than it is currently on live, where it's another shield wall, basically. And again, I showed you Lunar Beam. Let me get into combat real quick here. I'm a moon kid as a bear. And then run back over here. I showed you Lunar Beam already, but I'll show it off one more time. Rend and Tear is just that your Lacerate applications, like having 3 stacks of Lacerate on your target, will reduce the damage the target does to you by 2% per stack. So 6% less damage taken by targets with full Lacerate. I'll show you Lunar Beam again. Looks cool. There's a little moon up there. Does AoE damage around you and heals you for about ton. It's sort of like a combination of like Light's Hammer and Starfall. Starfall for the damage component, Light's Hammer for healing. It only heals you. To my knowledge, only heals you. Only heals the bear. But another cool cooldown. Another cool cooldown. I've been testing too long today. But does good healing. Does good AoE damage if you need it. This one gives you lots of rage. This is healing and AoE damage, and this is damage reduction. So these last 6 talents here, these last 2 rows, lots of options. Lots of cool possibilities. The Guardian Druid is all about having a ton of HP and getting smacked in that bear face and just doing bear things. So that's the Guardian Druid. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below where those are apparently supposed to be done. And thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button. It helps me out a great deal. Subscribe to my YouTube channel here and check out all the other content I am putting out for Legion Beta, as well as all my other side things and my actual show that I do. If you want more information on the classes I have tested, please refer to my channel guide, !guide in my Twitch chat, or the channel guide button on my Twitch page, as well as the link in the description box for the full VOD, as well as the testing notes, bugs, and things that are currently broken. But thank you all so much for watching. Uh-oh, where did my... There we go. Have a great rest of your day in the World of Warcraft, and I will see you in the next testing session summary.